Alrighty, so here's what we're going to do now. You see this hole? This is where a TV is supposed to go in this camper. I got a few things to do. It's one we just got, and well, we're getting ready for an extended stay, and we're going to be where we can have TV and stuff like that. So if there happens to be bad weather, we want to have a TV, and there's not one in here. This is where it used to be. Problem is, I don't want a TV that just stands in there. You can tell that's where it's supposed to go, because there's your connection for your 12 volt, 110, and your antenna are right over there, or your satellite cable, whatever you want to use. Satellite ready, right over there. So, I want to use this for storage. Those of you who spend enough time in one of these things knows you never have enough. So what I'm going to do is I've cut me a piece of 1/2-inch ply, because I've already got the TV, and it's a little bigger than this opening right here, width-wise. Height, not quite. So I got this. I've cut this so that I can do it 1 inch up from the bottom, just like the other cupboards in here, and other cupboard doors. And I'll put hinges on it and a catch, and then I can mount the TV on it. And I'll put a plate across the back. I got some aluminum angle I'll put across the back on a level with this lip right here. So when we're traveling, it'll be resting on that and not on the hinges. And that way it won't wear out the hinges too fast with the weight of the TV. The TV is not that heavy. And with the mounting on it and stuff, it's really not that bad. But the problem is when you start going down the road and it starts bouncing, and you start, going off-road, like we go down some dirt roads at times, it gets kind of rough at times, and it's tossing back and forth. You want something to take the weight off of your hinges. Hinges are just there so you can open it up, put stuff in there, close it again. That's all. They're not there to carry the weight of the TV. So I'm going to finish this off. It's just 1/2-inch ply. I mean, you could feasibly get another door, but if it's going to be covered up mostly with a TV, who cares? As long as the coloring on it is close, it'll blend enough, and it'll look nice. So now let's get to work on that, finishing it off. Still got to get the hinges and the catches and all that stuff for it. Because I changed my plan. My original plan, it was going to sit inside of here and be hinged on this edge right here, and then you could slide it out and back. But when I got to checking, I found out this is not squared. It's like 1/2 inch farther from that corner to this one than it is from that corner to that corner. So you got to take 1/8 of an inch off of each edge and off these different edges, and it just makes it all squirrely. And I thought, the rest of them are overlapping onto it, down like this, and they're 1 inch up. I can do this one 1 inch up, and I'll be all right. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put me one on there, and it'll just swing over and back, and life is good. So let's get to work. Okay, so what I've done is I've stained this thing the wrong color. You know me, I just do things that way. And I bolted it, because the panel is, it's 1/2-inch ply with a 1/2-inch ply on the inside that has the offset at the bottom down here to fit the opening. So this part will actually rest on the opening of the cabinet itself, this line here. Let's see. And then this just overhangs and looks nice. And then I used fender washers on here and 1/4-inch bolts instead of regular screws so that it would be more secure. Trailers do tend to bounce over bumps and stuff in the road. And then I've got this bolted on so that it can swing out to the side, if we want it. And I'm about to mount a 90-degree bend right about here, so that there's no movement this way of it whenever we're traveling. And then this can just slide on off of that. and then I'll mount the TV to that. We're getting there. We're getting there. I'll show you as I go along, since I don't have any way to hold my camera. We're getting ready to move, so everything's kind of gone into storage. Okay, so there you go. It's mounted now. Now, something you want to be careful of when you do this is make sure that you measure between the edge of your bracket right here down to the edge of the door, and make sure it's equal all the way across so that it rides. So I get this up here, so that it rides like it's supposed to. And there's the door on there. See, I told you I dyed it the wrong color, stained it, whatever. You might wonder what these little eye hooks are for. That's so when the TV is on here and we go to driving somewhere, I can take a bungee cord and hook it to there, go around the TV and hook it to that one to kind of hold it in so it doesn't go, you know, come out of there. We don't want that. I got the lift rods on the insides. Like, well, let's see. The other ones have one, and true to form, I got the wrong color. That's okay. They work just as well. I got two on this one because of the extra weight of having the TV on it when we go to lifting it. So that should help a little. And then there's a catch down here at the bottom too. But you know, you can't open this one with this open. But then we don't plan on that. TV will lay on here and go over there, and we'll be able to, because it goes almost to the corner and then comes out just a little bit past over here if I remember right. I'm going to do a video on the TV alone. A 12 volt RV TV, and I'll have that coming up hopefully real soon. But that's the whole thing, and then all I gotta do is pull this around here and stick my TV on it and run the bolts into the back, and it's mounted. I do need to drill a hole through up here probably to run the power, and then I'm gonna run the antenna up to it and stuff like that, so there'll be a little bit more getting done to this door before it's finished. And if you decide to do one of these, make sure you leave enough room here. I had to gouge out a little bit right there so that this screw would clear. The other side, I seem to have barely caught it and got it just right. This side, I was off by a little. But, you know, it's nothing beautiful, but it'll hold the TV up and allow us to have that whenever we go places. Or I can take it off and leave it like that when we're not using it. And then we have better access to this cupboard. And these are the self-closing hinges. And I got the lift rods, so it's kind of beefed. Alright, so I've got the TV up here now, and the bungee that's going to hold it close to the cupboard door while it's being transported on there. I'll take that off so you can see the wires coming in the back. We have the antenna coax here. This is the power supply, and those are plugged in the back of that cupboard. I showed you the outlet before, and that still sits like it should. So the inner piece, the inner half inch, is sitting on the shelf itself. Couple of things I would recommend if you're going to attempt something like this, and if you're, you know, a bit concerned about it falling off of here while you're driving, it's not that hard to pull these 4 screws, unplug your wires, and then lay it on a bed and go ahead and drive. The DVD is on this end here. I will be doing a review of this TV coming up, the next video probably. I should have that out in a few days. And as you can see here, one of the things I'd recommend, the reason I have that there is because I had to move this up. I didn't take into account where it mounts on here. I mounted this centered to the door, and that wasn't right, because then it hung down to underneath the door, and I didn't like that. So I wouldn't do that. What I would do, if I was doing this over again, which I may end up doing because of the color of the door, is you mount the bracket to your TV, you lay your TV on the door, you line it up with the bottom and the top and where you want it, then you very carefully reach in and you mark where these 3 edges here are. See, this one, and this one, so that you can line up with it again to drill your holes. That way it'll make sure that it goes in there and it goes in straight. Because this, I mean, I got it to not, it's exactly squared with the door, and yet the TV hangs crooked. I don't understand that, but that's the way it came out. So that's what I would do in the future, is I would redo that. I would make sure that I mounted the bracket to the TV and then hung the then laid it on there like I was describing. Let me see if I can get that on there. One hand, there we go. Yes, a little bungee on there. So there it is. It's finished. It works. I'll do the review on it and show that to you. You see, it's a little crooked. I don't understand. It just is. But anyway, that's the way it goes. And that's the whole project. The TV is up. The door is 1 inch thick on the inside. It's bolted to it. The screws going through here are about 2 inches, and they go all the way to the inside. So all I have left to do is tie up the wiring on the inside, and then a little bit of stuff on the outside. And but anyway, it's up and it's ready. So there it is.